a match made in blood. Raymond Fernandez, a conman with a sinister secret, was a man who thrived on deception. Born in Hawaii to Spanish parents, Fernandez had a troubled past that included a head injury during World War II, which some believe altered his personality and led him down a dark path. He used his charm and good looks to swindle unsuspecting women, promising them love and a future together, only to rob them of their money and leave them heartbroken. Found his dark reflection in Martha Beck. Beck, a nurse by profession, had her own share of hardships. She struggled with obesity and a troubled childhood which left her with deep emotional scars. When she met Fernandez, she was instantly drawn to his charisma and the promise of a better life. Together, they formed a bond that was as toxic as it was unbreakable. Their meeting in 1947 ignited a firestorm of deceit, manipulation, and cold-blooded murder. They devised a plan to target lonely, vulnerable women who were seeking companionship through personal ads. Fernandez would woo these women, while Beck posed as his sister to gain their trust. Once the women were ensnared, the couple would rob them, and in some cases murder them to cover their tracks. Bound by a shared darkness, they embarked on a chilling spree that terrorized the nation. Their crimes were not just about financial gain. They seemed to derive a twisted pleasure from the suffering they inflicted. The media dubbed them the Lonely Hearts Killers, a name that would become synonymous with their gruesome acts. They preyed on the vulnerable, promising love and companionship, but their true intentions were far more sinister. They meticulously planned each encounter, ensuring that their victims were isolated and unable to seek help. The letters they sent were filled with sweet nothings and false promises, designed to lure their victims into a false sense of security, only to leave a trail of shattered lives and lifeless bodies in their wake. Their reign of terror continued for nearly 2 years, during which they claimed the lives of at least 3 women, though some believe the true number of their victims could be much higher. The authorities were baffled by the seemingly random nature of the crimes, making it difficult to track down the perpetrators. The Lonely Hearts Killers, as they became known, were a terrifying testament to the depths of human depravity. Their story captivated the nation, with newspapers and radio broadcasts detailing their every move. People were both horrified and fascinated by the couple's ability to deceive and destroy so many lives. Their macabre love story, fueled by greed and a shared thirst for blood, unfolded against the backdrop of post-war America. It was a time when the country was recovering from the horrors of World War II, and the idea that such evil could exist within its borders was almost too much to bear. Yet Fernandez and Beck thrived in this environment, using the chaos and uncertainty to their advantage. Letters filled with longing and the promise of companionship became their instruments of deception. Each letter was carefully crafted to appeal to the recipient's deepest desires and fears. They knew exactly what to say to make their victims feel special and wanted, all the while plotting their next move. They targeted lonely hearts, desperate for connection, drawing them into their web of lies with promises of a brighter future. But for those who fell into their trap, the reality was far from the dream they had been sold. Instead of love and happiness, they found only betrayal and death at the hands of 2 of the most notorious killers in American history. The Conman and the Lonely Nurse. This is a tale of deception, manipulation, and a dark partnership that would leave a trail of devastation in its wake. Raymond Martinez Fernandez, born in Hawaii in 1914, was no stranger to the world of deceit. From a young age, he was drawn to the art of manipulation, finding it easier to take what he wanted through cunning rather than hard work. A petty criminal from a young age, he honed his skills in confidence tricks, preying on the unsuspecting. His early years were marked by small-time cons and petty thefts, each act sharpening his ability to deceive and manipulate those around him. Years later, after a stint in prison, he reinvented himself. Prison had been a place of reflection and transformation for Raymond. He emerged with a new identity and a more sophisticated approach to his criminal endeavors. No longer Raymond Martinez, but the more alluring Raymond Fernandez. He adopted a suave and charming persona, one that could easily win the trust of those he intended to deceive. His new identity was a mask, hiding the darkness of his past, his criminal past. A ghost he desperately tried to outrun, but no matter how far he ran, the shadows of his former life always seemed to catch up with him. He was a man constantly looking over his shoulder, haunted by the deeds he had committed. Martha Beck, born in 1919, carried her own share of darkness. Her life was marked by loneliness and a deep-seated sense of inadequacy. She struggled with her self-image and found it difficult to connect with others. Overweight and insecure, she sought solace in a fantasy world of romance novels. These stories of love and adventure provided an escape from her mundane and often painful reality. She dreamed of a life filled with passion and companionship. Her yearning for love and companionship, a vulnerability that Fernandez recognized and ruthlessly exploited. When their paths crossed, he saw in her an easy target, someone whose desperate need for affection could be manipulated to his advantage. Their connection, forged in shared darkness, would have devastating consequences. Together they formed a toxic bond, each feeding off the other's weaknesses and insecurities. Their relationship was a dangerous cocktail of manipulation and dependency. She saw in Fernandez a kindred spirit, a man who understood her loneliness. In him, she found someone who seemed to offer the love and acceptance she had always craved. Her devotion to him was unwavering, blinding her to his true nature. He, in turn, recognized her unwavering devotion, her willingness to overlook his darkness. He knew that as long as he kept her under his spell, she would do anything for him. This made her the perfect accomplice in his schemes. Their toxic bond, cemented in blood, would become a terrifying force. Together, they embarked on a spree of crime and violence, leaving a trail of broken lives and shattered dreams in their wake. Their story is a chilling reminder of how love, when twisted by darkness, can lead to unimaginable horrors. Luring the vulnerable, a twisted romance. Their modus operandi was as calculated as it was heartless. Fernandez, the charming rogue, would woo lonely women through lonely hearts ads. He spun tales of wealth and adventure, promising them the world. Beck, posing as his sister, would gain their trust, playing the role of confidant and protector. Once the trap was set, they would fleece their victims of their savings, their valuables, their very sense of security. But for some, the nightmare didn't end there. Those who resisted, who threatened to expose their charade, met a grimmer fate. Murder became their preferred method of silencing those who got too close. A trail of tears, from New York to Michigan and beyond. This journey, marked by sorrow and devastation, began in the heart of New York City and stretched all the way to the quiet suburbs of Michigan. It is a story of relentless pursuit and unimaginable horror. Their reign of terror began in New York City, where they claimed their first victim, a widow named Janet Fay. Janet, a woman who had already faced the loss of her husband, became an easy target for their sinister plans. The bustling streets of New York, filled with dreams and aspirations, became the backdrop for this dark tale. As their confidence grew, so too did their body count. Each new victim added to their twisted sense of accomplishment. The newspapers of the time were filled with headlines that sent chills down the spines of readers as the tally of their gruesome acts continued to rise. From the bustling streets of New York, they moved westward, leaving a trail of heartbreak and horror in their wake. The transition from the crowded city to the more serene countryside did nothing to quell their dark desires. Instead, it provided new opportunities for their malevolent activities. Michigan became their next hunting ground. The state, known for its picturesque landscapes and peaceful communities, was unprepared for the storm of violence that was about to descend upon it. The couple's arrival marked the beginning of a new chapter in their horrifying saga. It was here, in a quiet suburban home, that they committed one of their most heinous acts. The tranquility of the neighborhood was shattered by the brutality of their crime. The home, once a place of comfort and safety, became a scene of unimaginable horror. The murder of Delphine Downing and her young daughter Raynell shocked the nation with its brutality. The innocence of a child and the love of a mother were cruelly extinguished, leaving a community in mourning and a nation in disbelief. A mother and child, their lives snuffed out by a couple who embodied pure evil. The story of Delphine and Renel serves as a haunting reminder of the depths of human depravity and the innocent lives that are often caught in its wake. Their memory lives on, a testament to the enduring impact of their tragic fate. The walls close in. Capture in Michigan. Their reign of terror, however, could not last forever. In August of 1949, the walls began to close in. The disappearance of a widow named Myrtle Young in Michigan raised red flags. Suspicions arose, whispers turned into accusations. The net was closing in. Acting on a tip-off, police descended on a modest home in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Inside, they found a scene of unimaginable horror. The body of Myrtle Young, hidden in the basement, provided the gruesome evidence they needed. Fernandez and Beck were arrested, their days of preying on the innocent finally over. Justice served? The trial and sentencing. The trial of the Lonely Hearts Killers became a media sensation. Newspapers across the country splashed their photos on the front pages, detailing their crimes, with a mixture of fascination and revulsion. Fernandez, arrogant and defiant, maintained his innocence throughout. Beck, initially portrayed as a victim of manipulation, eventually admitted to her role in the killings.